Good morning, everybody. I'm still trying to see why I can't see. Hold on. Ew. Whatever reason, my lighting has got me where I can't see this morning. I guess that, to me, that's better. I don't know. Oh, I still can't see. Oh, damn, this. Not sure what's going on. Hey, Robert. I'm trying to fix my light. Okay. All right, look like I got some problems. Things been a little, not being able to see. All right, it's time to get in Genesis 31. All right, Genesis 31 is going to be a book that's going to summarize the feelings of a lot of people. So if you ever go through something in life where you say, I really want to say something, and you feel like God has always got you in a position where you can't tell your side of the story, that's why you got to walk with him. Because, excuse me, in Genesis 31, the feelings or the emotions or the character of all of the people that had something to do with what was going on concerning Jacob. Their story is getting ready to be heard, and even God is going to speak. And where we are is, I can't say that it's a summary, but I can say that you're going to see a lot of things unfold. That's why it is important that we are not in religious sect where we box God in and say, you're going to stay right here, God. You stay in here because you are, this is the name of your church. You know, God is his word. And once we find out that we need this word in order to say that we know him. Because what was not explained and things that we are praying out to, oh Lord, what's the answer to this? Just keep walking. Keep walking with God, and then God will unfold everything that it was that you might have questioned. And so, and being that I'm exploring the word one chapter at a time, I'm walking with him as he unfolds his word. Now, I could have jumped ahead of the lesson and saw what was going to happen, but it's like going to the movie and then seeing what the writer is going to say when it's for the next day. So I'm going to stay within the word, keep following him the way that I'm following him like a child, and then just watch him tell me what he wants me to know. And Genesis 31 is very, it's going to explain a lot. It's going to explain the attitude of people. Okay, on Genesis 30, it starts out with Rachel. She was complaining to Jacob that I don't have any children. I need you to give me one. He said, am I in God's stead? Am I the one that makes life come through you? I am an instrument that God uses, but I'm not the one that make life. I'm not the one that gives. That's not me. I'm not the one. In other words, she made Jacob upset. And then there was a feud between the wives. And then they, I'm going to have a baby by him. And I'm going to have a baby by him. And then I'm going to let my maid have a baby by him. And all of this feuding goes on. And then it comes to a point that they're silenced. And then Jacob is getting ready to just say, I'm ready to get up out of here. All right, so then Jacob, I'm trying to bring us up to date. By the time he got ready to go, Laban came up with another idea. He said, no, just tarry with me a little while longer. In other words, let me use you just a little bit more. And then Jacob said, well, you know what? I don't want you to give me anything. Whatever I do, I work with my own hands. And Jacob came up with saying, look, I'll take these sheep, you take these sheep, these cattle and of a certain color, and I'll take these of a certain mark on them. And nothing that he said basically pleased his father-in-law or his boss or his master. unrighteous master. And so, but Jacob kept his word, did what he said, and we're going to watch God unfold the rest of this story concerning this. All right, and you know, right now, Laban is happy because things seem to be going his way. Laban is the father-in-law, Jacob's father-in-law, the one that kept coming up with other things than the truth to keep Jacob under his control. But let's see how God allows this story to unfold in chapter 31. All right, very good story. It tells me so much about myself. It tells me so much about people. It tells me so much about God. All right, so everybody's seeing that Jacob is prospering and doing his told Laban what he's going to do, and he's doing it. He's doing exactly what he told him. All right, so let's see what happened. Maybe I need to go back to this part. When Jacob was given the instructions that certain, I say birthmarks just to make it, you know, a little bit clearer. So when I explain it, that the cattle and the sheep and the goats and the rams or the cows, the sheep and the goats that he was supposed to have were not to look like Laban's. His had to have a mark on it, and whatever the mark they had agreed upon, Jacob was doing his part. So Jacob went to certain trees and he cut some rods from the trees and he placed it in the trough of the or the gutter where the animals drank from. And while they were drinking, you know, a lot of people I heard talk say they were looking at this thing, and they were. But I don't know if there was something that came from that rod to make them be up under some type of relax them in a point that the rams or the male cattle would come and mate with them, and then they would conceive. I don't know whether it was like a glass of wine to them, well, whatever it was, God placed it in there. And they were there long enough to conceive, because this is what the word says. But let's just see how God unfolded that thing, because it's amazing what we would get if we follow on to know him. And this book is this chapter right here. So hang in there, because I'm ready to go. All right. And Jacob doing his job, and he heard the words of Laban. Let me speak to y'all. Hey, Robert, Nina Jr., good morning. All right. And he heard the words of Laban's. You know what? I don't take it lightly that you joined me. And I hope that you are able to watch this movie, because it's an eye-opener, and it's good. And he heard the words of Laban's sons, saying, Jacob had taken away all that was our father's, and of that which our fathers have, he gotten all this glory. Look at all that stuff that Jacob has. Look at all of that. Just taking our daddy's stuff. It's because of our daddy that he got all this glory. Now, glory, we tend to think of glory to be something that's beautiful, or something that it's the smoke of the word of God, all the stuff that we had come up with. But the glory is the production or the manifestation of the seed planet. So it's the goodness of God through the stuff that we have. So they're not looking at the smoke of God. They're not looking at the religious thing that we sometimes make people think that's how God expresses himself. He said, I'm looking at all these cattle that this man has. Jacob has all this stuff. And Jacob beheld the countenance of Laban. In other words, I'm watching my father-in-law. He don't look right to me. And behold, it was not toward him as before. In other words, he's not saying, good morning, Jacob. How you doing over there? He's not doing that. So the man looking at me like he kind of, I don't like the way he's looking at me. And Jacob beheld the countenance of Laban, and behold, it was not toward him as before. And the Lord said unto Jacob, this is the Lord speaking, return unto the land of your fathers and to thy kindred, and I will be with thee. Go back to Canaan. Go back to that promised land. Go back home. Now the Lord has spoken. Anything that comes out after verse 3 are details. The Lord has spoken. He told Jacob, go home. Go back to the land I promised you. And Jacob sent and called Rachel and Leah to the field unto his flock. Now Jacob had people working for him. Go get my wife Leah, go get my wife Rachel, and tell him I said, meet me out here in the field. And said unto them, I see your father's countenance, that it is not toward me as before. But the God of my father has been with me. My father has spoken to me. Your daddy don't look right. He's not, I can tell he up to something. And you know that with all my power, I have served your daddy. And your daddy has deceived me and changed my wages 10 times. But God suffered him not to hurt me. Now, Jacob said, I may not have been complaining or talking to y'all about all the stuff your daddy did, but I've been keeping up with it. 10 times your daddy has deceived me. But God didn't let him hurt me. If he said this, the speckle shall be your wages, then all the cattle bear speckled. Didn't matter what he said. If he said, you take all the speckle, then all the speckle is mine. And if he said this, the ring straight shall be yours, then bear all the cattle ring straight. No matter what your daddy said, I tried to work with it. Thus God has taken away the cattle of your father. Because one thing about what your daddy was doing that he didn't understand, whatever he said, God said, okay, make that happen. Now, in the 28th chapter of Genesis, I had to go back there and look at this. That thing was beautiful. When Jacob was on his way, leaving his daddy's house, and he stopped at this certain place, and he had this dream as the angel descending and ascending, and God was sitting up at the top. God was letting Jacob know then your life getting ready to be busy. But guess what? I'm going to have angels up and down, whatever you need. And this is what God is saying through Jacob right here. You know, when your daddy said you want ring straight, then God, okay, so okay, ring straight, go be what, go get in line for Jacob. If he said if you want speckle, then he said, okay, speckles, go get in line for Jacob. It didn't matter because the Lord was in control. Them angels going up and down that ladder. God said it's going to touch earth, going to reach up to me, and I'm going to be in control. But he was letting them know you going to have a busy life, but the angels going to be working in your behalf. Even when you don't see the angel, they're going to be doing what I already know they got to do. I know this man you getting ready to meet. Isn't it good to know that God already got everything fixed and ready for you to so nobody can harm you, but at the same time, you got to finish a course. You got to go take these classes. Because some of these classes you signed up for, Jacob. You know, when you and your mama was plotting and you were in that kitchen cooking and then your mama got together, some of these classes, of course, you got to go through because I got to work some out of you. But anyway, I'm going to be with you and ain't nobody going to hurt you. He said, thus God has taken away the cattle of your father, of your dad, and given them to me. So it didn't matter if your daddy said you have all the red, then God will cause the cattle to be red. It didn't matter if God said all of them going to be with long, real, extra long eyelashes. I don't know. Whatever it said, God said, okay, so shall it be. And it came to pass at the time that the cattle conceived. He said, let me go back. He said, I'm going to go back to you. Let's roll this camera back. He said this is about 6 years ago. I tell y'all what was going on. I didn't tell y'all the day that it was happening, but I'm going to tell you now. He said 6 years ago, let me tell you, y'all come in close, Leah and Rachel, let me talk to y'all. And it came to pass, do you remember that time when the cattle was conceiving? I lifted up mine eyes and saw in a dream. And behold, the rams which leaped upon the cattle were ring straight, speckled and grizzled. When he said leaped upon, that's how the cows made it. That's how the male, you know how to, if you don't know, the male, if you're a child, the male cow is leaping, is getting ready to mate with the female cow. He said, I lifted up my eyes and saw in a dream, and behold, the rams which leaped up on the cattle were ring straight and speckled and grizzled. And guess what happened during that time? I ain't say nothing. And the angel of God spake unto me in a dream, saying, Jacob. And I said, yeah, here I am. And he said, lift up now your eyes and see all the rams which leap upon the cattle are ring straight. In other words, what your dad-in-law asking for? What he telling you can have? He said, lift up your eyes and see the rams, the daddy cow, which leap upon the mama cow, are ring straight, speckled and grizzled. For I have seen all that Laban doeth unto you. In other words, God saw the schemes and the plots that his dad-in-law was doing to him. He said, man, don't worry about that. He's plotting all this stuff. Everything that, every class got an end. So God said, let me bring an end to this thing. If he said all this stuff, well, you're not going to work for this man this long and walk away with nothing. I caused the right cow to mate with them cows that looking at that stuff in that water while they trying to figure out how did that happen? How did that happen? How did they just saw the thing? God said, no, y'all didn't keep reading the word long enough to find out. I was behind the cow. I was behind the cows. And he said, lift up your eyes and see all the rams which leaped upon the cattle are ring straight, speckled and grizzled. He said, them daddy cows did it. I made them daddy cows. In fact, some of them cows that were being separated, I know what I was doing. He said, I have seen all that Laban do it unto you. I am the God of Bethel. He said, remember that day that you laid down and made the pillow there? I'm the God of Bethel where you anointed the pillows. He said, you remember that day that you spoke to me in prayer? It's been about 20 years ago. He said, I was listening. God knows everything. I am the God of Bethel where you anointed the pillow and where you vowed a vow unto me. Now rise, get out from this land and return unto the land of your kin. Boy, go home. I'm still with the third verse. And Rachel and Leah answered and said unto him, is there yet any portion or inheritance for us in our father's house? And do we have a reason to stay with Dad? Now, last chapter, these two girls arguing, you know, that's 6 years ago, they had each other. And Rachel and Leah answered and said unto him, is there any portion of inheritance for us in my dad's house? Our dad got that thing set up for us. Are we now counting him strange? In other words, when he sold us to you, did you like that? We became a stranger. For he sold us and has quite devoured our money. In other words, that ain't up to no good. That ain't got nothing set aside for us. And plus, if we stay here, there ain't nobody else gonna want us. Everybody know you. They know daddy wages for you. Everybody know how my dad operate. I ain't leaving. Hey, Jacob. For all the riches which God has taken from our father, that is ours and our children's. Now then, whatsoever God has said unto you, do. It's all this stuff. God allowed this stuff for us. This is for us. So whatever the Lord is speaking to you to do, Jacob, baby, just go ahead on and do it. These two women were together on this thing. They came together when it was time to tell the truth. After Jacob made sure that I'm not finna leave this place with my wife fussing at me, because I can't deal with that, I'm ready to go. He said, now I got my house in order. I got all my girls. I got a whole bunch of girls. Even though they're not mentioned while Jacob's sons are being mentioned, Leah alone, as we will see in the genealogy, that there was a lot of girls riding along on these camels. For all the riches will God taken from our father, that is ours and our children. Now then, whatsoever God has said unto you, do. Then Jacob said, rose up, and set his sons and his wives upon camels. And he carried away all his cattle. So I'm getting all my stuff. I ain't going to take none of his. I already separated his from mine. And all his goods which he had gotten, the cattle of his getting, which he had gotten in Padaraim. He was in that city where God said, Padaraim, for to go to Isaac his father in the land of Canaan. He said, everything that I came to get, and the reason why I'm here, I'm ready to go see my daddy. I'm ready to go see my daddy, my father, in the land of that promised land called Canaan. And Laban went to shear his sheep. So Laban, this is Jacob talking to his wives. And while he's doing his thing and they're getting ready to pack up, Laban is doing his thing, shearing his sheep. And Rachel had stolen the image that were her father's. While he was out there doing his thing, Rachel went in that house, got something that belonged to her daddy, and her daddy didn't see it. And Jacob stole away unaware to Laban the Syrian, in that he told him not that he fled. In other words, God has spoken to me. I'm getting ready to go. So he left without telling Laban bye. I got to go. I ain't got time to fool with him. So he fled with all that he had, and he rose up and passed over the river and set his face toward the Mount Gilead. In other words, I know where I'm going. And somebody told Laban on the third day that Jacob was fled. Jacob had fled, or Jacob was gone. And he took his brothers with him and pursued after 7 days' journey. So Laban, what? Jacob, what? What? And they overtook him in Mount Gilead. Now, when the decision or the conversation between Jacob and Laban was that he would take certain cows that had a certain mark on them, then old Laban got all the cows and told his son, y'all keep these right here. Y'all keep these. So that's 3 days of cows that they had to get from Jacob. So it was already a 3-day gap. So that gave Jacob 3 days to already be on his way. And it was told Laban on the third day that Jacob was fled, and he took his brothers with him and pursued after him 7 days. So it's about 10 days, 7 days journey, and they overtook him at Mount Gilead. They caught up with him. Oh, Laban said, not my help. I'm getting this boy. Well, really, he wasn't thinking about his daughters other than if they could be proper to him. If God came to Laban, he said, let me tell you something. Hey, Laban, this is God speaking. Hey, Laban, let me talk to you. Whether or not we live by the word, we know when God has spoken. Some told me not to say that. Or some told me not to go there. You, in your right spirit, in your heart of heart, you know God is moving towards you saying, don't do that. And you know you haven't been in the word, but something about this situation, God said, don't go there. So God was like, I'm still in control now. I want you to let me control, but if I got the control, I'm God. I'll take over now. Then Laban and God came to Laban, verse 24, in Syrian in a dream by night. God said, I catch you in your dream. If you don't get in my word, I'll meet you in a dream. But it may not be good. And God came to Laban in Syria in a dream by night and said unto him, take heed that you speak not to Jacob, either good or bad. He said, I know what you're trying to do, but he said, I'm going to tell you something. Don't speak to him neither good or bad. That's all God said. That's all he said. Watch your mouth. Don't say nothing good. You know, what you going to say if God said don't say nothing good, and then he said don't say nothing bad? Where you going to find that gray area? Let's go see if he did obey God. Let's see. Then Laban overtook Jacob. If I was Laban, I said, look, I'm gonna tell you something. God told me ain't nothing gonna work what I say to this guy. Then Laban overtook Jacob. Now Jacob had pitched his tent in the mountain. Jacob said, let's take a break, y'all. And Laban with his brethren pitched in the Mount Gilead. And Laban said to Jacob, because it was a lot of stuff Jacob had, and Laban had this stuff, so they pitched their tent in 2 different places. And Laban said to Jacob, what have you done? That's the same question he asked you when he woke up with the wrong woman. What have you done? Now here his words coming back at him. 20 years later. And Laban said to Jacob, what have you done that thou hast stolen away unawares to me? How you take my stuff and didn't let me know? And carried away my daughters and captives taken with the sword. He said, what's up with you? This thing playing itself out. 20 years later, God asked them the same question. What you did? What you doing? Wherefore did you flee away secret? How come you kept it a secret and still away from me, and did not tell me that I have sent thee away with mirth? And he said, if you had to just let me know you were leaving, I would have given you some mirth. I would have given you some songs. I would have sang some songs. I would have sang that I would have got a tambourine and a harp. I'd have had a party. All you had to do was let me know you were ready to go. God told that boy, so let me tell you something. Don't say nothing good or bad. That man, he's still trying to find a way with question marks. Like, I'm just going to say something. God said, look, I'm tell you something. I gave you my word in a dream, Laban. Don't say nothing good or bad. That was enough to say, don't say nothing. But he's decided, I'm going to say this, but watch him. And has not suffered me to eat. I want to kiss my sons and my daughters. You didn't even let me, I just wanted to get them some sugar before they left. Thou hast now done foolishly in so doing. Didn't God tell you to watch your mouth? It is in the power of my hand to do you hurt. I really want to kill you. But the God of your father spake unto me last night, saying, take thou heed that thou speak not to Jacob either good or bad. Then he had to come on out and confess it. I done woke up, but I got to tell you what the word said. He told me not to say nothing good or bad, but I already ran my mouth to it. But I'm going to let you know that's what he said. And now, though you would need be gone, because I understand you want to go because you long for your daddy's house. You long for your daddy's house. Yet wherefore hast thou stolen my gods? Now, okay, I get it that you're going home. I ain't going to bother you about that. Lord already told me. I said a few things, but I'll let you know that I just want you to know God didn't tell me not to say anything good to you or bad. He said, but let me say to you, why you steal my stuff? And now though thou would need be gone, because you so long as after your daddy, if you just wanted your daddy, see your daddy, why you take my stuff? My gods, lowercase g. And Jacob answered and said to Laban, because I was afraid. I'm going to answer your question one by one. Number one, because I was afraid. Not necessarily afraid of what you're going to do to me. Let me just see what he said. And Jacob answered and said to Laban, because I was afraid, for I said, perhaps thou would take by force thy daughters from me. With whomsoever thou findest your gods. He said, now I was afraid. I ain't let you know because I know you would try to take your daughters from me. That's what I was thinking. But if I had just really, gone, now this is me thinking behind Jake, but really the truth is God already told me to leave, and I wasn't worried about you doing that. But I was kind of scared you're going to try to take my wives. Take your daughters from me. That's just the truth. He said, but whoever you find your gods, lowercase g, let him not live. That's how serious I am. Let him not live. Before our brother discern thou what is yours with me, and take it from me. If you find anything on anybody that's traveling with me, you get your stuff. But Jacob knew not that Rachel had stolen them. He said, Jacob know everything about his wife. He said, let him not live. Let him not live. He ain't even thinking about it. Could have been his wife. There's a man that's still around here. If you find your stuff, let him not live. I know it could be collectively male or female, but he wasn't thinking like that. Before our brother discern what is yours with me. In other words, you got all these folk looking. So check it, go, investigate. But Jacob knew not that Rachel had stolen them. That's kind of, because I'm looking at the story. Now, Jacob's mama, Rebecca, pretty lady, She had some up her sleeve. Now, people, let me just tell y'all something. I'm just saying this based on me having some experience in life. When you get a pretty woman, I'm not saying the story gonna stop here, but I'm just telling you something. Check her out. Check her mama out. Check her dad out. Because you're not gonna know everything. And Rachel was a pretty woman. Rebecca was a pretty woman. But it's more to the skin that we're in. Because we can do some funny kind of stuff. But let's just get back to the story. I just thought I'd say that. And Laban went into Jacob's tent. I'm going in yours first. Then he went into Leah's tent. So they weren't living in the same tent. And into the two maidservants, them girls that were giving Jacob babies. But he found them not. Lastly, then he went into Rachel's tent. Now Rachel, she stole it now while he was out there shearing the sheep. Now Rachel had taken the images and put them in the camel's furniture and sat upon them. You know, they had something that laid across the camels and probably had a little zipper bag part in there. And put them in the camel's furniture and sat upon them. And Laban searched all the tents, but found them not. And she said, Daddy, let it not make you upset or displease my Lord. She's now calling him Lord. I just got to say you ain't no good to my husband, saying you ain't kept nothing for us. The girl is good. And she said to her dad, let it not displease my Lord that I cannot rise up with thee for the, cause you know, it's that time of the month for me. For the custom of women that was up on me. It's my time of the month, Dad. That don't make me stand up. And he searched, but found not the images. He still searched. She said, I just don't want to stand up. Please, Daddy, don't make me stand up. And then Jacob, Tarzan, this part of Jacob came out, and Jacob was wroth. And he had a word with his dad-in-law. And Jacob answered and said to Laban, what is my wrong? What is my trespass? What is my sin that you so hotly pursued after me? Are you running up behind me? In fact, I'm getting ready to let you, now I'm going to tell my story. It may take some people 20 years to finally let it all out. But I'm going to tell you something. You can't keep on poking on people and doing people wrong. And look, whatever you do, at some point, you got to meet me at the register. We got to, the lady behind the counter got to add this stuff up. And Jacob said, now I don't understand why you pursuing me so hotly, coming up behind me, going in and out of my stuff, whereas you have searched all my stuff. Your song's called The Glory. Whereas you have searched all my stuff, what have you found of all? You found, what did you find your household stuff in my stuff? I don't play like that. Set it here before my brothers and your brothers that they may judge between us both. You did all this searching. You done wasted all my time. I could have been asleep because I just took a break. And we could have been on our way. And you holding the things up. He said, let me just talk to you, daddy, law, boss. This 20 years have I been with you. 20 years I've been with you. Your ewes and your she-goats have not cast their young, and the rams of thy flock have I not eaten. He said, none of your female cows ever gave birth before time. And then when they did do what they did, I did not take nothing that didn't belong to me. I could have got anything I wanted from you. But no, when you told me what to do, I sat in that classroom. I graded all those papers. I talked to all them parents. I never wasted your time. When I thought about it, I took something from school that was not mine. I made sure I brought it back. I did everything I know to make sure that I was faithful to the job that you gave me. 20 years. 20 years I sat and did it. I had a right to take it. But I said, no, I don't want this stuff. That which was torn or beast, I brought not. He said, if something tore up, I didn't even let you know. If I was in the office and something broke, I took care of it. I did whatever it took. If some money got lost in the classroom that I was supposed to turn into the office, I went in my pocket. I don't know who took it, but I know that I went in my pocket and made sure that whatever that was the transaction between us, it was good. I didn't let you. I took the worry off of you. This 20 years have I been with you, and your babies ain't never gave birth before time. If a beast came out to eat one of them, I brought it not to you. I didn't even let you be concerned about it. I bear the loss of it. In other words, if I was supposed to get one of them, I said, I'll take that, and I'll still give you all the 99. Of my hand thou required it, whether stolen by day or stolen by night. He said it didn't even matter. Whether they took it in the daytime or the night, I never let you know. 20 years I've been faithful to you. Thus I was. In the day that drought consumed me, I was so hot. He said, when it was daytime, I was working, and then he said, in that night, cold at night, frost by night, and my sleep departed from my eyes. I stayed at work. I gave you every offering you asked for. I gave you tithe. I gave you Sunday school. I gave you YPWW. I paid building fund. I gave you pastor appreciation. I did all of that. I never kept anything from you. 20 years you did me like that. 20 years. And all I wanted to do was make sure you had the best of the best. I was tired. I didn't tell you when I couldn't sleep. I couldn't tell you that my light bill was being cut off because I was trying to make sure the church had their lights on. I didn't tell you all that. All I did was everything that I thought would please you as my boss. 20 years, but I ain't through talking to daddy-in-law. Thus I was in the day drought. I was tired in the daytime and couldn't have sleep at night. Thus have I been 20 years in your house. I served you 14 years for the two daughters. I gave you 14 years of my life for two of your daughters. And 6 years for your cattle. That's 20 years. And you have changed my wages 10 times. No matter what I did, you always came up with another way to keep me under your yoke. Except the God of my father, except the reason why I'm here. The God of Abraham, the same God that led Abraham, the same God that I made mine. And the fear of my daddy, Isaac, had been with me, sure you would have sent me away now empty. He said, if God hadn't stood in my stead, you would have sent me away the same way I came. But no, there's too many righteous things between my beginning and now it's going to be my exit. But it's the Lord that sustained me. Had it been up to you, I would have absolutely nothing. Now, do y'all hear me, brothers over here? All these guys, I want y'all to know what kind of man y'all dealing with. Like I'm stupid or something. 10 times you changed my wages. As if I was so stupid I wasn't paying you no attention. People are listening. That's why I said, Lord, I'm praying this morning. Let the church arise. Why is it that we don't know this? Why is it that you got to tickle our ears and make us jump and shout and don't let us know that you've been taking advantage of us all this time? And God has said, I want my people to know that I've been with you. That ladder that was between earth and heaven, I had them angels going up and down, working and making sure things are working out in your behalf. All these years I saw him do you like that. Do you think I'm going to let you walk away empty? Do you think I'm going to I'm going to hold the reins and tell everything to stop? I'm going to stop the schools. I'm going to stop the churches because I'm trying to let y'all know this word must be taught. He said, except God had been my vindicator, except God had been my judge, you would have left me empty. That's how low down you are, Daddy. God saw my affliction and the labor of my hands and rebuked you yesternight. God rebuked you. And Laban answered and said unto Jacob, These daughters are my daughters. God already told you, Laban, to shut your mouth up, but yet and still, I got to say something. And Laban answered and said unto Jacob, these daughters are my daughters, and these children are my children, and this cattle are my cattle, and all that you see is mine. Everything you looking at is mine. God already told this man, shut up. And what can I do this day unto these my daughters, or unto their children, which they have born? Now therefore come thou. I got to have the last word. All this stuff you got is mine. But come on, let's make a covenant. He said, I want to come at you. I really do. But every time I get ready to say something to you, God will say, you better back off. Back off, Laban. Now therefore come thou, let us make a covenant. Me and you. And let it be for a witness between me and you. And Jacob then submitted himself and took a stone and set it up for a pillar. And Jacob said unto his brother, gather stones. And they took stones. Jacob had guys that understood, man, we with you, Jacob. And made a heap. And they did eat there upon the heap. See, then your enemy hungry, feed him. I don't care if he is your dad-in-law. Then Jacob said unto his brother, gather stones, and they took stones and made a heap. And they did eat there upon the heap. And Laban called it Jagasaharutha, but Jacob called it Gilead. Gilead. I ain't called it all that. And Laban said, this heap is a witness between me and you this day. Therefore was the name is called Gilead. And whatever Jacob called it, that's what it was called. And Laban said, this heap is a witness between us. Therefore, the name of it was called Gilead. And Mizpah, for he said, the Lord watch between me and you when we are absent one from another. All right? Now understand, the devil that's driving Laban, but control, look, the devil is under the foot. God already told him, watch your mouth now. He said Mizpah. That means, may the Lord watch between me and you while we absent one from another. He didn't say that with the grace of God. He said that look at the one that's telling him to watch between me and you. Now, may the Lord watch me. May the Lord watch between me and you. I'm the crook. May the Lord watch between me and you. May the Lord watch. You know how we get up to every church, every time we get ready to go to church, we said what Laban said. That's not what the word said. May the Lord watch between me and you while we absent one from another. Mizpah. In other words, watch what we said, read the words, and we make sure that what we said, if God said to say it that way. In other words, I'm the crook. May you watch me. No, he said, this is Laban talking. He said, if you shall afflict my daughter, like you care something about these daughters, or if you shall take her other wife beside my daughter, no man is with us. See, God is a witness between me and you. In other words, I done tricked my daughters. And don't you trick them. This man is a tramp. He said that, in other words, when you leave here and find out that's me talking. Sometimes I just want to be me. Don't try to get no other women when you find out your daughter got a little bit of trait in me. Now, that's not what he was saying. He acted as if he was really daddy. I'm a good daddy. That man is whoever he is. Whatever he say, whatever he does, Jesus said, the tree is known by the fruit it produces, not by what comes out of his mouth. God be witness between me and you. And Laban said to Jacob, behold this heap. You see this stuff I'm piling up? And behold this pillar which I have cast between me and you. He said, let this heap be a witness. And this pillar be witness. That I would not pass over this heap to you. I'm not coming back over here to you. And that thou shalt not pass over this heap and this pillar unto me for harm. In other words, if you do decide, Jacob is telling this guy, look, let me tell you something. Now, I'm not coming back to you, but if you pass over this thing to me, don't do it for harm. I ain't going to go back to you for harm, and you ain't coming back to me for harm. Then Jacob said, the God of Abraham, The same God that spoke to Abraham, the same God that keeps his word, the same God that if we say what he said, we'll still be saying what he said in 2020. But we got to know what he said. The same God of Abraham that spoke, the God of Nahor, his daddy, the God of their fathers, judge between us. And Jacob swore by the fear of his father Isaac. He said, I respect my daddy. Then Jacob offered sacrifice upon the mount and called his brothers to eat bread. And they did eat bread and tarried all night in the mountain. And early in the morning, Laban rose up and kissed his sons and his daughters and blessed them. He spoke a word, he blessed them. And Laban departed and returned unto his place. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Genesis 31. I declare, let's get ready for Genesis 32. Talk to y'all later. Have a good day.